Hello. Today, we're going to talk about the chief of staff role. Now, leaders have long known that they need administrative support, executive assistant support. Um, but word is spreading that leaders also need high level strategic execution support to truly drive business forward. So, I'm going to define the chief of staff role and we're going to compare it to the executive assistant role, some similarities and some differences. All right. So, the chief of staff role. A chief of staff is a business leader's strategic thought partner who's excellent at execution and allows the business leader to focus on what's most important: vision, strategy, growth, and leadership. Eyes up, focused on the future. The chief of staff helps also understand the strategy in the future, but very, very strong with executing the leader's initiatives that heads down work as well. Just like an executive assistant, a chief of staff supports the leader directly versus existing on behalf of the company. The chief of staff exists on behalf of that leader, but different than an executive assistant, they are in a highly strategic role that at its core is focused on driving the leader's many and varying business initiatives forward quickly and efficiently and solving problems, removing roadblocks along the way. Now, the chief of staff also often acts as a proxy for the leader and drives alignment across the leader's executive team, and quite often leads major cross functional initiatives, cross functional company wide projects as necessary. So, before we get into the differences between executive assistant and chief of staff, let me talk about how the two roles are similar. Both roles, as I mentioned, exist to support a person versus their own scorecard or their own business category, like a chief operating officer or a chief marketing officer. Both roles are highly organized and planful in their work. Both roles, chief of staff and executive assistant, can be seen as the glue that holds a team together. Both roles have a major impact on the leadership team and the company. And both roles are really kind of the right hand and the left hand to the business leader. Now, what are the core differences between executive assistant and chief of staff? A senior executive assistant, all admin work, really holds the core functions of administration, being calendar, inbox, travel, logistics, and expensing. Chief of staff roles generally do not hold those bodies of work as their primary responsibilities. An executive assistant always has those core functions of work. Now, senior executive assistants are also problem solvers. They're also kind of strategic doers in a sense, and they're the logistical mastermind behind the executives, as I mentioned, calendar, travel, expenses, and they're a go-to support lead for tactical items across the executive team. But as I mentioned, a chief of staff almost never has the core responsibilities of an EA, being calendar, inbox, travel, expense, logistics. However, often an EA may step in and lead a more strategic project. So there can be a little bit of crossover as an EA, advances and offers a lot of value and maybe takes on a project or two, but a chief of staff does not generally hold any of those core administrative functions. So hope that helps a little bit define the difference between chief of staff and executive assistant, and more to come.